Good morning and welcome in everybody. It's 10:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, May 16th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to wish everybody a good morning. We'll do a good 10 to 15 minutes here as I just got back with my weight training. I got a lot of work to do outside. Some stuff to do with my son, so I want to get through this update in a timely fashion, but give you information that I think you'll be able to use going forward. I have one position update of note. Where's the chart at? With MXC, it broke down out of the rising wedge, so I am no longer in MXC. We talked about it in the live yesterday. I said if it broke down that rising wedge, that I was going to sell it, and then I would see later how it would react, because it could go as far as a 50% correction. That is not the right chart, I don't believe. So I didn't wait, I took action. I don't know which one I have it on. But we had a rising wedge here. Here, I'll just draw it out. We had a rising wedge here, and it broke down out of it, or at least it's attempting to break down out of it. Whoops. And then we'll get into XRP, but I wanted to start here because a lot of people had questions about this last night. And honestly, I think we're starting to break down out of it. And it's a very nerve-wracking spot here if you are a holder of MXC, because if this comes down, you're talking about a 50% correction roughly, 40 to 50% at least. And it's not going to be pretty, and this is actually not right. Because you can look at this a couple ways. And like I can try to keep this in the formation right now, but it's going to probably end up doing us a disservice going forward. But if you even look at it like that, it's starting to break down outside this pattern. I kind of like it like this, but one could make the case that you could come from down here and say, you know, it has been doing something like this. That's what I was looking at. And the moment it broke that little wedge, and obviously it's up to your own interpretation. If you want to look at it differently than I have, that's up to you. But I said yesterday, if it broke that upward support, then I wasn't waiting for a back test. I was selling the moment it broke through this support structure, which I did. And I haven't regretted it. Yes, I had 2.5 million tokens, so I'm a little disappointed that MXC was unable to break through. But it looks like it's in a giant bear flag. So, you know, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. And I actually sold when it was on this candle here overnight. Or earlier overnight before it had to bounce back, and now it's just coming back through. So I wanted to at least make sure to talk about that while I remembered. As far as XRP goes, we are sitting at $2.43. I do appreciate all the positive feedback I've been getting about the new tablet. I think I turned this on accident, my bad. I want you to be able to see the whole screen, but I accidentally hit it. There we go. But I appreciate all the feedback here with the new tablet, or with the new technology. I've been trying to make this more universally, like as far as like something that'll attack your attention and allow you to remember this stuff. So in the mornings, I switched to this technology. It's a 32-inch. I had a 42-inch, but I just didn't like the way it looked. It didn't look clear enough. So I invested in this one. And it looks way better. It can be in like 2160p, so it's very high def. And it gives us a proper way to look at this. The touch is very nice. It's very adaptive. So with XRP, the beauty of this is if we take this into like the daily, and I would love to know what you guys think about the way I'm doing these updates now without showing me so much, so that you can see a better picture of actually the chart. But right now, this is our big descending triangle that we were breaking out of. So first tier was right about here. Here, I'll take the arrow out so that it's a little bit easier to see. So first area we broke out of was right here. So downtrending resistance. downtrending support, which created that descending triangle. Then we started an uptrend here. So support, 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 breakout, back test. So now if we can hold 234, we are in business right now. It's just if we don't hold 234, then we start to talk about the objective here. Well, if we don't hold that back test, what's the most likely scenario? We would come down farther, but the 4 hourly has a bullish reversal right now. We'll see if there's some noise to be made. Last 4 hourly was more bullish than it even seems. Being on the top side of this back test is a very, very, very promising sign, if I'm being honest. Very promising. It's just if you break this down. If we go into the 2 hourly, it looks like it's trying to put in some kind of inverse head and shoulders possibly, which would be honestly fantastic. If we put an inverse head and shoulders here, this would be great. We have to take care of that bearish cross, however. So on the 2 hourly, we want to get back above 246 and start pushing past that 252 resistance now to try to push past 265. If we break 234, it's going to be an issue. If we look at the demand, distribution, and things like that, we will continue to see that we are still in a pretty good spot here. It's just, you know, we haven't been able to get back into demand. Looks like a big inverse head and shoulders is playing out in real time, which is actually a really, really good deal. Oh, I love this so much because you guys will be able to see this whole screen. Oh, you're fine, Julie. It makes it so much easier. Not just for me to do the TA, but knowing that you've got this whole screen instead of just my tablet screen, it's such a wider view. So now I can show you like from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Are we possibly pushed into wave 5 already? That's the question. That is the question of all questions right now. It really is. And the fact we bounced off of this on support, this is the distribution box. We've never bounced off distribution like this, and I don't think I have the tag on here still. No, I took it off. But we're trying to get to demand. But this was the distribution box. So, I mean, this is exactly what we're trying to do here, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we're trying to push back into this very, very bullish section. Very, very bullish section. Let's see. No, I don't want it up there. I think we should at least have something to acknowledge it for anybody who's new. We'll do a call out. How about that? And we'll just put distribution here. Actually, I want to put it in caps so it's easier to see. Distribution. Why isn't it putting it in? That's weird. What, it doesn't want me to just copy it? Interesting. Distribution. Look, it's not even registering what I put into the rest of it. I gotta love it when it's not distribution. There we go. Alright, so that's the distribution box for anybody who's new. And in the prior parts of the pattern, going back to like 2017, 2021, we failed to hold distribution and we always fell back to supply. So supply 3 was below us, supply 2 right here. After hitting distribution, we went into demand at the top, failed the first time around. So, I mean, this is your history right here of what's been going on. We had supply 3, which we've been in for some time, broke out into demand for the first time in a while after pushing through distribution for a second time, or actually third time. Second time we failed to get through and it started a WXY correction, in my opinion. Now, we're trying to get back into the demand zone on a fifth wave. However, if this fails, you're going to be talking about a possible lengthy wave 4 correction, and I'm talking like you could come way out here, you know, maybe even farther if we're looking for the same time period as we've had. Could even go out until like 27, 28, but we're looking for a quicker breach here. So that's what I'm looking at, you know, this morning, waiting to see if we can hold that back test at 237 area. If so, We've already held it once. We can start pushing back, but Bitcoin's struggling here a little bit. Ethereum was up over 2% on the day, but now it seems to be falling backwards here a little bit. But we're just trying to make sure we can break out or break down. Right now, that looks like a bearish doji in the daily, which kind of sucks. If it pulls up here and reverses, we need to get above like 2,700 roughly to start breaking that agenda. We're right up at the rising channel resistance. We put in a rising wedge. We put in a rising wedge in Ethereum and broke down. Now, we talked about for a very long time, even if we were bearish, we had to back test at 2,565, which is why I put that price note and pulled it out. And we're back testing it right now. However, that's an engulfing in the weekly. So if we can get hot here in the last 2 days, we could really make some noise on a reversal. The moment you get back into the rising wedge and you hold it as support right here at 2,620 roughly, it opens the door back up to 4,100, even if bearish. So just consider that. Commodities are pretty flat on the day, honestly. They're not doing much. A couple percent here and there. I would continue to watch that sector and just see if you can find an opportunity. It's not going to go down forever, especially with the current climate. This is what we had drawn out. As long as we stay over that, we're looking very good in Bitcoin. In fact, that would take us to about 110 and then ultimately 128 to 147 if this plays out. So pay attention to this because it has not broken down in Bitcoin. Even though it seems like it's falling a little bearish, it's not broken down. In fact, it's holding itself up rather nicely. So that's what I see. That's what I feel. If this breaks up in a flag instead of breaking down, we could have significant upside potential. If you're watching and you're like, well, how do I invest in XRP, XDC, IOTA, ALGO, XLM, HBAR, and the rest? And I can do it for the lowest spot and leverage trading fees, no KYC or VPN in the USA, and also use an exchange that's never turned its back on XRP. That would be Bitunix, my favorite. You can swing trade, you can leverage trade. It's cheaper than the other exchanges, especially in the USA. You can get XDC, which is very hard to find. So take advantage of that. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I hope this update found you well. Let me know what you think in the comments. And let me know what you think about the continued, upgrades. And the fact that I'm trying to test this out in the proper ways. It's going to take a few days to get it perfect. But this one looks a lot better than the last. So we'll continue to try to improve this. Have a blessed day.